Hey y'all, glad you're back. I want to thank all the subscribers and everybody who's leaving comments and giving me the old thumbs up. Really do appreciate it. Um, I gotta get this video making thing in a rhythm. Been having a hard time lately, stuff coming up, been getting sick. Man, I just got over a pretty good stomach ache. I'm not even over it all the way. I wanted to make a video for you guys, so I was going through my knives and I seen a knife that reminded me of hunting on the Amish. I hunted on them for a little while. But here's what I want you to do. Go get your snacks, go get your soft drinks, go have your bathroom break. Because we're fixing to get this party started. Let's go. So there I was, surrounded, nowhere to run. I look over here, I look over there. They're everywhere. Then I hear this siren. Wah, wah, wah. But they stop. And then I remember it's my alarm clock. Alright, so what brought this story on and reminded me of this story was I was going through my knives. Got a bag of knives. I just got a lot of knives. I collect knives, all kinds of knives, every kind of different kind of knife. But anyways, I've seen this one particular knife. My SOG Bowie. It's a little scratched up because this knife is one that I did actually use. And I'm going to tell you guys how I come about getting this knife and why I got this knife. Alright, y'all. So this is how it happened. A really good friend of mine who's passed away, so I won't be saying his name or anything, it doesn't matter, but pretty good friend of mine that I used to talk on the CB radio with for quite a few years. Asked me to go deer hunting with him one year. I was like, heck yeah, I'll go deer hunting with you. Where are we going? He's like, I know a place. I got permission. He said, and hardly nobody hunts it. I was like, all right, that's cool. That sounds good. Always good to get a good hunting spot where there ain't a whole lot of people out there running around, stomping around, right? So I hook up with him opening morning rifle season. And I'm like, so where are we going, man? He's like, just hold on. And about daylight, we're driving, and it's about, 15, 20 minutes before daylight. We pull up to this gate off of some dirt road. I wasn't paying attention where we was going, really. Um, I was just riding along, drinking coffee, talking. And we get to this gate, and his son jumps out and opens the gate, and we drive in. Well, when we pull into this gate, now I'm paying attention. So I noticed it's a big house right in front of us, right? I'm like, man, that's weird. Why is this gate like right by this big house? Usually it goes into a field or something, you know what I mean? doesn't go to someone's yard. This one went to someone's yard, but I wasn't really putting none of it together and paying too much attention still, even though we just drove past this house with no lights on or nothing. And then we go through another gate, pass the house, go through another gate, pass a couple big barns, drive out to the edge of this field where it's a fence row that's all growed up. So it kind of like gives the truck some cover. You know what I mean? So we get out of the truck, truck's semi hidden from the field. We get out of the truck, we walk probably another 75, 80 yards down this fence row, and there's another gate. Well, we open the gate, and all we do is turn the corner, and there's like this great big cedar tree. So we just all get up under this cedar tree, and now we're just watching this pretty good sized field. I don't know how many acres it was yet. So we're sitting there talking, and I'm like, well, whose property are we on? You know what I mean? Where are we at? He's like, oh, we're hunting on the Amish. I'm like, dude, what? Cause okay, so we all around here grew up around the Amish, and we're talking old school Amish, right? Like you don't take their pictures or nothing. They'll get pretty aggravated about that kind of stuff. No videos, no interviews, nothing like that, right? And I'm gonna explain that in this story and how that turned into a dilemma during one of my hunting trips. So we start hunting. Uh, Me and my buddy, we didn't get one, but his son did. Now his son had split from us whenever we got to the cedar tree. His son took off. He had his own spot to go to. Now, when this happened, this kid was little. He was a little guy, like probably 12 or 13. But he hunted by himself. He knew what he was doing. Well, he got one. He killed a little doe. So we go get the doe, and I'm like, man, this is pretty cool. I can't believe this. Blah, blah. We field dressed this doe, and I noticed that, most people keep the heart, right? Well, he kept the liver too. And I didn't say nothing, but I thought that was weird. A lot of people don't keep the liver. Excuse me, some people like the liver. If the liver's made right, I'd probably eat it myself. You know what I mean? But the heart's good. Um, and I assume the heart of everything tastes about the same. So don't skip the heart. Okay. But anyways, hunting Amish. We field dress this deer. We get it in the back of his truck. We're heading out. Well, on the way out, we stop at this house. And when we stop, it was like somebody opened the door to an orphanage. I mean, a whole bunch of little kids showed up, like a couple dozen. And I am not exaggerating, you guys. There was every bit of 20 kids, every bit of 20 kids. And not all of them tiny. I'm talking like probably 11, 12, about my buddy's son's age down to about 4 or 5, and they was just like running everywhere, but you didn't see them until we pulled up and stopped, and then all of a sudden they just started like popping out of bushes and from behind stuff. Like I think they were literally hiding from us. But anyways, you know, um, they gotta the Amish. They're good Christian people, real good Christian people, and they just got a thing about the English. Okay, so they don't really trust us a whole lot. Now, I don't say I can't blame them because the way they live is pretty honest, hard, and full blown 100% Christian. Now, the ones around here, and I think it goes with all of them, speak a Dutch, German, some kind of broken, I think they call it dirty Dutch or something. I don't know, but it's a Dutch German language that they speak. Now they can speak English too. You know, they can communicate with us just fine. But they do have their own language, and their Bibles are written in the same language, and they're like a really old version of a Christian Bible. And I mean, like they don't believe in dinosaurs or nothing, right? Anyways, I don't guess that really has anything to do with anything. We're talking about the Amish I know. And these folk were solid, good folk. No electricity, everything oil. Now, I did notice that they had a porch light on the back porch that was a 12-volt bulb that would be on early in the mornings and then come on again, once it got dark at night. And I seen an alternator connected to their windmill. Now their windmill is a water well, right? It's a water pump. That's how they get their water. But they'll also kick that thing on or unlock the windmill and let it turn, and it will turn a generator or an alternator. I think they actually use the old generators out of a car, and that's how they ran that electricity when they needed things like a light so they can get in and out of the house at night and whatnot. Because they did keep everything in a cellar. They had some sort of freezer system. I'm not sure how they did it, but they did keep stuff frozen somehow. But anyways, they also smoked their own meat and salt cured everything, and pretty cool hanging out with the Amish. But they're not that nice at first, okay? They're not like you can't just drive up to the Amish house and get out and just start, talking to them. Now you might be able to start talking to them if they're selling something, but like just walk up to a group of Amish and start taking pictures and video and talking, no, it's probably not going to work out too good. Not at all. So, these guys they work all the time, but when they're not working, their favorite hobby is wrestling, like hardcore wrestling, okay? Like kind of like jujitsu type wrestling. They will mess you up. But we killed this deer. We stop at this house. All these little munchkins come running out. It was pretty cool with their funny haircuts and stuff. Poor fellers. But then the main man come out. Now they have a kind of like a ranking system in the Amish community, and this guy was pretty high up in the rankings. Like he had to be in order for us to get permission to even be out there. We had to get permission from this guy. Okay, like if he said it was okay, none of the Amish argued about it. So no, nope, you just had to mention his name. And anyways, we not me. But my buddy's son gave the heart and the liver to that man. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And so we leave, and then so I asked my buddy, I'm like, why did you just give him the heart and the liver? Because I would have given him a hind quarter, or even both hind quarters. You know what I mean? Or the neck and hind quarters. I'd have given him more than just the heart and the liver. But anyways, he's like, well, that's all they want. That's all they ever ask for. So that's just what we give them. Anytime we harvest a deer out here, that's what we give them. I was like, all right. I'm thinking, well, that's all they ask for because they're just nice that way. You know what I mean? They're not going to ask for any more. And so this goes on, me going out there with him and watching this happen for a few years, like, about 3 years, probably at least, minimal. And finally, I think it was the third year. So I hunted out there 7, 8 years. I think like the third year, I was going out there with my buddy, and we killed a couple deer, and I hadn't killed one. The whole time I went out there with my buddy, and I hunted with him. So the first 3 years, I never even tried to kill one. Because the guy I was with was a lot older than me and had a hard time seeing and hearing. And I was basically, I mean, he wouldn't have got mad if I'd have shot something, but I would have felt bad about shooting something because this was his hunting spot and he was bringing me along to help him hunt. You know what I'm saying? That was weird. My light, I don't know what happened, power surge. And so, never really tried to hunt. But the 3 years we went out there, they always got something, at least a couple deer. Sometimes more. Sometimes we'd go back and they'd fill their tags for the season. And which is I think two apiece or whatever. And every time these Amish got the liver and the hearts. Well, third year, the main guy, almost said his name. The main guy came to me when we stopped and gave up this, heart and liver. Actually came up to me and was like, so what was your name again? And started talking to me. And then he brought his elder sons and wives and his wife over to meet me. Now, oh, I got goosebumps. You guys got to understand how big of a deal that is with the Amish, right? Like, these men, these top ranking men, they don't just introduce English people to their kids, especially ones that are married and their wife. Okay, they're just usually it's just a man to man. Once they trust you, then you'll get to meet the whole family. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. So this was a big deal. So I met everyone, and you don't look their wives in the face or in the eye. Don't just good just not even look at them. Don't try to shake their hands. Don't do none of that. You look the men and the young men dead in the eye. You give them a very firm handshake because they're going to try to pop all your knuckles. That's how they feel about English, even though they got to respect you because of who's there and introducing them to you. You know what I mean? Listen, my fingers got, my knuckles were popped. So, but I give it back too. You gotta let them know you ain't no chump neither. But so then after that, I got permission to come out there whenever I wanted. Now I got my own rights, right, to go out there, and I could hunt all of the property in that community. Period. Like just walk around wherever I want to go and hunt. So, which was pretty cool, but I didn't abuse it, and I didn't. I hunted one main area, and that was the area I already knew, and it was always a good spot. So now these uh fellers and folk, they hunt too. They actually are avid hunters, but like during the winter time and fall especially, like bow season and early rifle season, they're usually still working pretty hard and don't have a whole lot of time to hunt. Now, what they will do is, some of them that have teenage boys, which most of them do because they have big, huge families, they will hunt. Like, you know, that'll be like part of their chores to actually go hunting and kill something during season. Now, they also raise their own cattle, chickens, hogs. They got all the livestock on old McDonald's farm, everything, mules and all. And they don't really have to hunt all the time, but they do sometimes. Okay, but um, the younger boys definitely hunted, cause I seen them. So I got permission to start hunting out there, and I started bow hunting out there because then I could really get out there by myself, because my buddy he didn't bow hunt, so I was kind of jumping the gun and getting to spot everything before gun season open and be able to tell him what I seen. And only time I ever shot anything out there was if it was just a really big fat doe. Now, when I started hunting out there and killing deer, harvesting deer with my bow, I would give them a hind quarter, the heart, and the liver. Now, see, I was using my deer meat to feed my family. So I give them a whole rump, heart, liver, and they was good with it. They was happy with that. Well, a lot of times when you get out there and you go hunting, especially if it was like early morning, and once all them little kids woke up and they seen your truck sitting out there, cause see they didn't see a whole lot of pickup trucks and stuff just sitting on their property. So when they seen one, all them little kids was wanting to check it out. You know what I mean? They didn't get to see that kind of stuff very much. It was pretty cool. So they'd always be all up in your truck and they never took none. But they'd mess with everything, which I didn't care. Them little kids, they wasn't gonna hurt nothing I had. But the thing is they were pretty good trackers. So they'd mess around in your truck and turn your wipers on and all that stuff and crank your radio up, air conditioner, the heater, something would be blowing when you turn your ignition on. And always something. But it was worth it. But they'd track you right to the tree you was hunting out of or wherever you set up your blind. You'd hear them coming. They'd be whispering. But, you know, as many of them as there was, somebody would break a twig or you'd hear them. There'd be a whole handful of them coming. They'd sneak right up on you and be like, hey, mister, you want us to run some deer for you? Hey, mister, you want us to get some deer to come over here? We know where they're at. We'll go round them up, run them over here. We'll drive them right to you. It's like, no, thanks, y'all. I'm just really trying to sit here and relax. It's not that big a deal, guys. Just, it's all right. And these guys are like from 6, 7 years old up to about probably 10 or 11. Because when they got big enough, they were actually doing big, heavy duty chores. So it was little guys. But, anyways, they'd end up taking off. And sometimes I'd see something, sometimes I wouldn't. But it was always worth going out there just because of how nice everybody was. And the kids were all just running around barefooted and dirty and with these funny haircuts, man. It was straight up a bowl haircut, you guys. Like, no kidding. They had different size bowls for different size heads, and they put them right on there and just cut right around it. And that's it. That's the ticket. That's what you get. So, deal with it. Okay, so, anyways, I'd bow hunted all year, and then gun season come around. It was going to be the first rifle season. I was going to go out there by myself, right? And the deal is, my buddy was sick or something, so he couldn't go. But this year I could go by myself, so it didn't matter. So I was jacked up, you know what I mean? I was going to get to go out there during gun season, maybe see one of the big bucks I'd seen during bow season, couldn't get a shot on. So I get all my stuff ready. I got everything ready, right? I get in my truck, I take off. I get about halfway there. I got to thinking, I could have my knife. I never forget my knife. Well, that was a lie. I forgot my knife. Well, they just put this hunting and sporting goods store in this little town. And I can't remember the name of that store. It was a weird name. And it was weird that they put it in this little town too. Like, it was odd, but it worked out for me. So so I pulled in there, and my buddy that I worked with actually lived just down the road from this place, and he told me about it. So I was like, I knew where to go. As soon as I remembered that I forgot my knife, I knew where I was going. I'll show you the knife. You want to see the knife I forgot? This is the one I forgot. Buck knife. The guy I work with bought that for me for Christmas one year. So this knife was actually new when this happened. And I was going to take this knife to skin a deer with, right? Well, I forgot it. And so I pulled in this sporting goods store, and I'm thinking they got to have a hunting knife in here, right? Of some sort, somewhere. Even if it was just a cheap one. I didn't care. I just needed something that I could at least clean and gut this deer with. I didn't have my pocket knife for nothing, y'all. Because I was supposed to be bringing a long blade knife, right? Fixed blade. So it's called. But anyways, I don't know. I don't know what all the terminology is. I just know I like them and have a lot of them. So I go into this sporting goods store. I'm looking around. I'm, looking at knives, and they had some good ones. They had Case, they had Buck, they had them all in there. But they also had a knife that I'd never heard of, and that was a SOG. I hadn't heard of SOG knives before. But then when I seen the Bowie knife, I think it's full tang and everything. It's a good one, man. It's sharp. That point, I mean, that thing, you guys, has got a tip on it. That ain't doing no good. It's needle point. It's a good one. But I asked that old gal, I said, let me look at that. Now, I've used this knife a lot. Look, I even got, I had JB weld this. Cracked. But this knife's been through a lot. I've used it a lot. Turkey hunting float trips and everything. It has been field tested. I'll put it that way. It's a good one. So I pulled it out of the case. Now daylight's burning, right? It's actually, I'm pretty sure, already daylight by now. And so I'm going through these knives. I get this one. I open the box, take it out, and I pull it out. When I pulled it out of that sheath, you guys, and I felt it, I seen that needle point. Just the fact of how sharp it was sold me. And that's no lie. This thing was razor sharp right out of the box. So I told her to put all them other knives up. She put them up. I said, I'll get that one. And she said, are you sure? I was like, yeah, that's what I want. I think this is a good one. And so I bought it. So I take off and I go to the Amish my, with my pew pew. And of course I get one. But it was a little buck regardless. And got my knife out, my new Bowie knife. I think that's called the Sog Bowie. I'm pretty sure it's an old knife, you guys. Well, I say really old. I mean, it's 20 or plus years old. But I get it out and I cut my deer, break the pelvis, put the knife in there, boom, bust right through it, break it in half, load the deer up. When I get to the house, the Amish house, drop my tailgate, get my knife. Now the heart and liver's already out. So the little kids, they come run over to. I hand that to them. They run and take it to their mom. A little gnat in here or something. Stay up there by the light, sucker. So then I get my knife out and I skin off the hind quarter of this deer, skin the hide back, cut the hindquarters off right through the old hip bone. Well, the socket, cut right through it, no problem. Boom, hand it off to one of the bigger kids who could carry it. And I used that knife for probably every year I hunted on the Amish after that until I quit hunting on them. That was the knife I took with me. Now, I got a good bow hunting story on the Amish. All the gun hunting stories, the only other one was I was in my hunting blind. I hear something outside my hunting blind, unzip it. There's a full grown Amish man standing there with an AK-47. Not a SK, not a freaking none of the. This was a full blown AK-47. Asked me who I was. I told him who I was and who gave me permission to be out there. He said, "Glad to meet you. Good luck." And he turned around and he walked away. Okay, so that was the only weird encounter during gun season. All right, except for the little kids always showing up. But that was whatever. I got used to that. It didn't bother me. They were pretty good about being quiet and always stayed downwind. But bow season one year, this was a dandy. Just remember, no matter what, somebody out there cares about you. Me and millions of other people do. And there's a whole lot of them that love you too. If you're having a hard time, get a hold of a friend, family member, even a stranger. Call 988. And people are sitting over there just waiting to help somebody. All right? So, something's bugging you? Squatch it. Keep on keeping on. Peace.